5 must-see places in Japan every gamer and anime lover should visit. Theme bars and cafes in Akihabara. Almost any travel guide to Japan will spend time selling you on a trip to Akihabara. It's hardly anyone's best-kept secret, and it's usually a go-to spot for visitors. It's extremely crowded but worth pushing your way through the dense crowds. If you're spending time in Akihabara, you'd be cheating yourself out of a unique experience if you didn't make time to check out the many themed bars and cafes in the area. Cosplay Bar on Stage is an entire bar dedicated to, you guessed it, cosplay. If you want a quick bite to eat surrounded by all things Gundam, Gundam Cafe is exactly what you're looking for. There is even a Square Enix cafe that occasionally changes decor and special menu items to reflect whatever game is being promoted at the time. The list of theme bars and cafes in Akihabara is quite extensive, and pop-up cafes come and go frequently, so be sure to see what's currently open in the area before planning a trip to the insanely popular district. VR Zone. VR Zone is just one of many arcades in Japan, but it has recently also become the home of the first virtual reality Mario Kart game. Gamers all across the globe are hoping to see Mario Kart VR come to their own local arcade, but, for now, Mario Kart VR is only available at VR Zone's Shinjuku location. The new VR game was introduced to the arcade on July 14 and joins a host of other impressive VR arcade games. While VR Zone has a great selection of more generic games that are also a blast to get your hands on, some of the true standout titles are attached to franchises like Dragon Ball Z and Gundam. If you can make time for some new-age VR gaming in the midst of your journey through the best of what retro gaming has to offer at many of the other arcades in Tokyo, there is no spot better than VR Zone. Sega Tower. The Geigo Sega Building, also referred to as the Sega Tower, is a massive arcade in Akihabara. The arcade expands 6 floors and features a variety of historical games inside, one of which is the first ever Pokémon arcade game. The first 2 floors of the towers are reserved pretty much just for claw games and a variety of capsule dispensers. If you're looking to get your hands on actual arcade games, you will be far more interested in making a beeline for the 3rd floor and slowly working your way up. While there are still tons of claw machines on the 3rd floor, many of which I would recommend actually giving a shot, you can also find that historical Pokémon game here along with One Piece, Dragon Quest, and Hatsune Miku games as well. From the 4th floor up, you will find yourself in an arcade heaven. Capcom Bar. Yes, Capcom has a bar, an entire, alcohol-serving bar. If you want to experience a gaming-themed bar but also want to venture outside of Akihabara, you should definitely consider visiting the Capcom Bar in Shinjuku. It's one of the few bars that will feel far more like what you would expect a bar to feel like in the US, and it boasts a menu that pulls inspiration from the wide variety of Capcom's games. Resident Evil-themed cakes look like tiny faux brains, while the drinks have garnishes made to look like an eyeball. It may sound gross, but when you actually see the menu items, they don't look hardly realistic enough to make you lose your appetite. If you don't think you can stomach a brain-shaped sponge cake, however, there are tons of other options that pay homage to Capcom titles. Other standouts include a pizza inspired by Devil May Cry's Dante and a unique tea recipe inspired by Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney's Miles Edgeworth. Tokyo Anime Center. Some anime fans like to take a stop at locations that are a bit more gritty, for lack of a better term, but if you don't mind a more polished way to get your anime fix in, the Tokyo Anime Center can be a great, quick stop. It's completely free to stop by the center, which is dedicated solely to all things anime. The vast majority of the space is meant to entice you to spend your money and walk away with souvenirs, t-shirts, and other merchandise, but there is more to see than just things to buy. There are small sections devoted to showing off teaser content for upcoming anime and another exhibition that puts a variety of different rough sketches on display. It probably won't take you much more than 20 minutes to really get in and see everything the Tokyo Anime Center has to offer, but it's still a quick pit stop that can provide a nice change of pace during a trip to the ever-so-busy Akihabara district.